The church bells still echoed in my ears, their chime a cruel reminder of the vows we'd just sworn. I stood in the bridal suite, my white dress pulling around me like a lie, watching you, me wife, my everything, walk out the door without a word. By midnight, you were gone, leaving only a scrawled note. I can't do this, Sarah. I'm sorry. I clutched that note for weeks, rereading it until the paper frayed, as if the ink might reveal why you, Emily, vanished hours after we promised forever. We were 28, madly in love, or so I thought, standing before our friends in a small Connecticut chapel, your blonde hair glowing under the stained glass light. Your smile had been my anchor, but now I was adrift, alone in the apartment we'd furnished with dreams. The first days were a blur of rage and tears. I called your phone until it went straight to voicemail, left messages that swung between pleading and cursing. Our friends, our family, they had no answers. Your sister, Claire, said you'd texted her once, something vague about needing space. Then nothing. I scoured social media, but your accounts went silent. It was as if you'd erased yourself from the world, from me. But life doesn't pause for heartbreak. 2 months later, I found out I was pregnant. We'd planned it together, artificial insemination, a donor, our dream of a family. You'd held my hand through every appointment, whispering about the future. Now, I faced it alone, my body changing while my heart stayed stuck on you. I didn't know how to be a mother without you, but I had to learn. I moved out of our apartment, the one with your laugh still lingering in the walls, and rented a small place in New Haven. It was a 1-bedroom with creaky floors and a view of a park where I'd push a stroller someday. I worked as a graphic designer, freelancing from home, scraping by on savings and stubbornness. Every night, I'd lie awake, wondering what I'd done wrong, why you'd run. Was it me? Was it the weight of wife on your shoulders? Or something deeper? Something you never told me? The pregnancy was hard. Morning sickness hit like a freight train, and I had no one to hold my hair back. My best friend, Mia, tried to fill the gap, bringing me soup and bad rom-coms, but she couldn't replace you. I catch myself talking to you in my head, imagining you beside me, your hand on my growing belly. I named our daughter Lily, after the flowers you brought me on our first date. It felt like a way to keep you close, even if you were a ghost. By the time Lily was born, I built a fragile kind of strength. She came into the world screaming, a tiny fighter with your blue eyes. Holding her, I felt a love so fierce it scared me. But every milestone, her first smile, her first word cut deeper because you weren't there. I didn't know where you were, Emily, or why you'd left us. I only knew I had to protect Lily, to give her the life we dreamed of, even if it was just me now. The park became our sanctuary. I'd push Lily's stroller through the winding paths, her giggles chasing away the ache for a while. But one afternoon, when Lily was 18 months old, I saw a woman across the park. Blonde hair, your walk, your posture. My heart stopped. I grabbed the stroller, my pulse racing, and started toward her. Was it you? After 2 years, could it really be you? I went home that night and cried harder than I had in months. Lily slept in her crib, oblivious to the storm in my chest. I pulled out the box I'd hidden under my bed, the one with our wedding photos, your note, and the ring you'd left behind. I hadn't touched it in a year, but seeing that woman in the park ripped the wound open. I needed answers, Emily, and I was done waiting for you to give them. The next morning, I called Claire again. She sounded tired, her voice heavy with the same frustration I carried. Sarah, I haven't heard from her in over a year, she said. Last I knew, she was in Boston, but she didn't say why. Boston. 3 hours away. It was the first real lead I'd had. I didn't know what I'd do if I found you, scream, beg, or just stare, but I had to try. I hired a private investigator, a gruff guy named Tom who smelled like coffee and cigarettes. He didn't ask too many questions. Just took my money and your photo. Give me a few weeks, he said. I nodded, clinging to the hope that he'd find something, anything, to explain why you'd shattered our life. While I waited, I poured myself into Lily. She was 2 now, a whirlwind of curls and curiosity, asking why. About everything. I taught her to draw, her tiny hands smudging crayons across paper, and we danced to old jazz records in the living room. But every laugh was bittersweet. I'd see your eyes in hers and wonder if you'd ever know her, if you'd care. I started writing letters to you, not to send, just to survive. I filled notebooks with my anger, my love, my questions. Why did you leave? What truth are you hiding? Tom called a month later. Found her, he said, his voice flat. She's in Boston, working at a bookstore in Back Bay. Lives alone, keeps to herself. My heart pounded. You were alive, close, real. He gave me an address, and I sat staring at it, my hands shaking. Should I go? Confront you? Or let you stay a memory, a ghost I could hate without complication? I decided to see you. Mia offered to watch Lily for the weekend, and I drove to Boston, my stomach twisting with every mile. The bookstore was small, tucked between a cafe and a thrift shop, its windows stacked with dog-eared novels. I stood across the street, watching through the glass. And there you were, Emily, shelving books. Your hair shorter but still that golden blonde. You looked tired, thinner, like life had worn you down. I wanted to run to you, to demand answers, but my feet wouldn't move. Instead, I followed you. I know it sounds crazy, but I needed to understand. You left the store at 6, walked to a tiny apartment a few blocks away. You didn't smile, didn't stop to talk to anyone. It was like you built a wall around yourself. I watched you disappear inside, and I stood there, under a flickering streetlight, wondering what had turned my vibrant Emily into this shadow. I checked into a cheap motel nearby, my mind racing. Tomorrow, I'd confront you. I'd ask why you left, why you abandoned our vows, our daughter. But that night, I dreamed of our wedding, your laugh, your hand in mine, the way you'd whispered, I'm yours, forever. I woke up crying, knowing I'd never get that Emily back. Morning came too fast. The Boston skyline gray and heavy outside my motel window. I stood in front of the mirror, practicing what I'd say to you, Emily. But every word felt wrong, too angry, too weak, too desperate. Lily's face flashed in my mind, her innocent smile demanding I find the truth. I waited outside the bookstore, my heart hammering as the city buzzed around me. You arrived at 9, unlocking the door with that same quiet focus I'd seen last night. I took a deep breath and stepped inside, the bell jingling above me. You looked up, and for a moment, our eyes met. Your face paled, like you'd seen a ghost. Sarah, you whispered, your voice barely audible. The book in your hand slipped, hitting the floor with a thud. I wanted to scream, to demand why, but my throat closed up. Instead, I said, we need to talk. You nodded, glancing at the empty store. Not here, you said, leading me to a back room cluttered with boxes and coffee mugs. We sat across from each other, the silence thick with 2 years of pain. You wouldn't look at me, your fingers twisting the hem of your sweater. I didn't think you'd find me, you said finally. Didn't think I'd try. My voice cracked. You left me, Emily. Hours after our wedding. No explanation. No goodbye. And now I stopped. The weight of Lily too heavy to say yet. Why? Your eyes filled with tears. But you didn't answer right away. You stood, pacing, like the truth was a caged animal you were afraid to let out. I panicked. You said at last. I wasn't ready. Not for marriage. Not for us. I thought I was. But when we said those vows, it hit me. I felt trapped. Trapped. I laughed. Bitter. We planned everything together. The wedding. The house. The baby. I cut myself off. Watching your face. You didn't know about Lily. I could see it in your confusion. Baby. You asked. Your voice small. I pulled a photo from my wallet. Lily. Grinning in the park. Her blue eyes unmistakably yours. You stared at it. Your hand trembling. She's ours. Mine, I said sharply. You left. I raised her alone. The words cut, and I saw them hit you. Your shoulders slumping. You sank back into the chair. The photo still in your hand. I didn't know. You whispered. Sarah, I'm so sorry. I thought you'd be better off without me. Better off. My voice rose, shaking. I loved you. I needed you. And you ran because you were scared. That's it. But your face told me there was more. Something you weren't saying. I leaned closer. What's the truth? Emily. What are you hiding? You looked away. Your jaw tight. I can't. You said. Not yet. I wanted to push. To demand everything. But the bell jingled customers. You stood. Wiping your eyes. I need time. Sarah. Please. I left the store. My heart a tangle of anger and hope. You knew about Lily now. But you still held the truth hostage. I drove back to New Haven. Lily's laughter greeting me as Mia handed her over. That night, I wrote another letter. Pouring out my confusion. My love. My fear that I'd never understand you. But I couldn't give up. Not yet. Lily's third birthday came a week later. Balloons bobbing in our tiny apartment as she smeared cake on her face. I watched her. My heart full and breaking at once. Knowing you were out there. Emily. Carrying the weight of her existence. I hadn't told you I'd be back. But I couldn't stay away. I drove to Boston again. This time with Lily. I didn't know if I'd let you meet her. But I needed her close. A reminder of what was at stake. The bookstore was busier this time. And I watched you from across the street. Ringing up customers with a smile that didn't reach your eyes. I wondered if you'd thought about me. About Lily. Since I'd left. I walked in. Lily in my arms. Her head on my shoulder. You froze mid-sentence. Your eyes locking on her. The customer didn't notice. But I saw the way your hands shook as you handed them their bag. Sarah. You said. Stepping around the counter. Is that Lily? I said. My voice steady. Our daughter. Lily stirred. Looking at you with those blue eyes. And I saw you break. Tears spilling over. You reached out. Then stopped. Like you didn't deserve to touch her. Can we talk? You asked. Glancing at the other employee. I nodded. And we went to the back room again. Lily clung to me. Shy. As I set her down with a toy. You watched her. Your face a mix of awe and pain. She's beautiful. You said. She looks like you. She looks like you. I corrected. And she's why I'm here. I need the truth. Emily. All of it. You sat. Your hands clasped tight. I didn't leave because of you. You said. Your voice low. It was my family. My parents. They never accepted us. You know that. But after the wedding, they called me. Threatened to cut me off. To ruin my life if I stayed with you. I was scared. Sarah. I wasn't strong enough. I stared at you. Rage bubbling. You let them win. You chose them over me. Over our future. My voice woke Lily, who whimpered. I soothed her. My anger softening for her sake. It wasn't just that. You said. Barely audible. I was sick. I found out a week before the wedding. A diagnosis. I didn't want to burden you. My heart stopped. Sick. You'd never said a word. I thought leaving would protect you. I thought you'd move on. Protect me. I snapped. You broke me, Emily. And you left me to raise our daughter alone. Lily reached for me, and I held her close, tears burning. What's the diagnosis? You hesitated, then said, cancer. Leukemia. I'm in remission now. But back then, I didn't know if I'd survive. The word hit like a punch. Cancer. You'd faced it alone, thinking you were saving me. I wanted to hate you, but all I felt was grief. Why didn't you tell me? I asked, my voice breaking. I would have stayed. I would have fought with you. I know, you said, crying. I was wrong. I'm so sorry. We sat in silence. Lily's soft breathing the only sound. I didn't know how to forgive you, but I couldn't walk away again. Not yet. Driving back to New Haven, Lily asleep in her car seat. I replayed your words. Emily. Cancer. The truth you'd hidden was a knife, twisting with every mile. I didn't know if I could forgive you, but I couldn't unlove you either. The next weeks were a storm of emotions. I kept seeing your face, broken and guilty, as you looked at Lily. I hadn't told you I'd come back, but I knew I would. Lily deserved to know her other mother, and I needed closure, even if it hurt. Called you, leaving a voicemail. We need to figure this out. For Lily. You called back the next day, your voice tentative. Can I see her again? Please. I agreed. But set rules, no promises, no expectations. We met at a park in Boston. Neutral ground. Lily ran to the swings, oblivious to the weight between us. You watched her, a smile breaking through your guarded expression. She's so happy, you said. You're an incredible mom. I had to be, I said, sharper than I meant. You flinched, but nodded. We sat on a bench, Lily's laughter filling the silence. Tell me everything, I said. No more secrets. You took a breath, then told me. The diagnosis came days before our wedding routine checkup turned nightmare. You didn't want me to see you weak, to watch you fade. Your parents' threats were the final push, convincing you I'd be better off without you. You'd moved to Boston for treatment, cutting everyone off to protect yourself from shame. I thought I was doing the right thing, you said. But I was wrong. Every day, I regretted it. I listened, my heart torn between pity and anger. You should have trusted me, I said. We were a team. You nodded, tears falling. Lily ran over, handing you a dandelion. You took it, your hands trembling. And for a moment, I saw the old Emily, the one who'd loved me fiercely. We started meeting weekly. You'd play with Lily, read her stories, your bond growing with every visit. She called you her tiny voice warming something in me I'd thought was dead. But I kept my distance, guarding my heart. I couldn't let you back in. Not fully. Not yet. One day, you brought a photo album pictures from your treatment. Your hair gone. Your face gaunt but smiling. I kept these to remind myself I survived. You said, I want you to know who I was then. I looked at them, my throat tight. You'd fought alone, and I hated you for it. But I loved you too. By Lily's 4th birthday, you were a fixture in her life. We celebrated together, you blowing up balloons while I frosted the cake. Felt like a family, but it wasn't. Not yet. I still needed time, and you respected that. Never pushing. But every smile, every touch, chipped away at my walls. Lily's 4th year brought changes I hadn't expected. You, Emily, were no longer a ghost but a presence. Steady and careful, rebuilding what you'd broken. Yet I stood at the edge, torn between the love I still felt and the fear you'd leave again. We settled into a rhythm: weekly visits, sometimes more. You'd take Lily to the zoo, her hand in yours, while I watched from a distance, my heart a battlefield. You were good with her, patient, teaching her to name the animals, your laughter echoing hers. But every time you left, I braced myself, expecting you to vanish again. One evening, you stayed after Lily went to bed. We sat on my couch, the apartment quiet except for the hum of the fridge. Sarah, you said, your voice soft, I want to be here. For both of you. Not just visits. I want to come back. I froze, my heart racing. Come back. I asked. You think it's that easy? You left me, Emily. You left us. My voice shook, years of pain spilling out. How do I trust you again? You looked down, your hands twisting. You don't have to trust me yet, you said. But I'm not the person who ran. I've changed. I'm healthy now, and I want to prove it. You reached for my hand, but I pulled away. Not ready. I need time, I said, echoing your words from Boston. You nodded, your eyes sad but understanding. Over the next months, you proved it. You showed up. Every time, no matter what. When Lily got sick, you brought medicine and stayed up with me, holding her. When my car broke down, you fixed it. Grease on your hands, a grin on your face. You were trying, and I couldn't ignore it. One night, after Lily's bedtime story, you lingered. I wrote you letters, you said, pulling a stack from your bag. Every day I was gone, I wrote to you. I never sent them, but they're yours. I took them, my hands shaking. That night, alone, I read them, pages of your fear, your love, your regret. You'd written about me, about our dreams, about the life you thought you'd ruined. I cried until dawn, your words breaking me open. We started therapy, together and apart. It was messy, raw, peeling back layers of hurt. You admitted your fear of failing me again. I admitted I still loved you, even if I hated admitting it. Slowly, I let you closer. You moved to New Haven, renting a place nearby. Lily started calling you Mama M. And every time, my heart softened a little more. By spring, we were a family again, tentative but real. You cooked dinner. I tucked Lily in, and we'd sit together, talking about nothing and everything. It wasn't the same love as before, it was deeper, scarred, but stronger. I didn't know if I was ready to call you my wife again, but I wanted to try. We rebuilt slowly, piece by piece. You were there for Lily's first day of preschool, holding my hand as we waved her off. You cooked terrible pancakes on Sundays, and I teased you, the old spark flickering back. But some nights, I'd wake up, heart pounding, afraid you'd be gone again. You'd sense it, pulling me close, whispering, "I'm here. I'm not leaving." One evening, you took me to the chapel where we'd married. It was empty, the stained glass dark, but you lit a candle and handed me a new ring symbol, engraved with forever. This time, you knelt, tears in your eyes. "Sarah, I know I broke us once, but I'm asking for a second chance. Will you marry me again?" I stood there, the weight of our past heavy but not crushing. I thought of Lily, of the family we were becoming, of the love that had survived so much. "Yes," I whispered, and you slipped the ring on my finger. Your hand steady now. We kissed, soft and certain, the candlelight warm on our faces. We planned a small ceremony, just us, Lily, and a few friends. Lily was our flower girl, tossing petals with glee. This time, the vows felt different, tharder earned, more honest. We promised to stay, to fight, to trust. When you kissed me, Lily cheered, and I felt whole for the first time in years. But the truth, you'd hidden your illness. Your fear never fully faded. We talked about it in therapy, in quiet moments after Lily slept. You showed me your scars, physical and not, and I showed you mine. We learned to live with them, to love through them. You got tested regularly, and every clear result was a victory we celebrated together. Lily grew, her laughter filling our home. She didn't know the full story yet, but one day, we'd tell her how her mothers fought for each other, for her. We moved into a bigger house, one with a yard for her to play in. You planted lilies, a nod to our daughter, to us. I watched you, dirt on your hands, and knew we'd made it. The truth you'd kept from me, Emily, had nearly destroyed us. But it also forced us to rebuild stronger, to choose love over fear. I don't know what the future holds, nobody does, but I know we'll face it together. You, me, and Lily, a family forged in pain and redeemed by love.